Yesterday was kind of a crazy day. So if you guys don't know, Gamescom took place in Cologne, Germany yesterday. The Bloody Ties DLC got an official release date for Dying Light 2. Dying Light 2 got a major community update, which I'll discuss in another video, but today what I wanted to focus on was Dead Island 2. The last video I put out, I mentioned that we could potentially be hearing some type of announcement of Dead Island 2 soon, with a potential release date, and it turned out to be true. Dead Island 2 received two trailers, an announcement trailer, I guess you can call it, which was about 3 minutes long, more CGI than anything, and then they quote-unquote put out a gameplay trailer, which is just footage of the game. It's not real gameplay. It's only a minute long, gives you an idea of what the game looks like now after 4 years of being in development by Dambuster Studios, which I want to correct myself in the last video. I had no idea that Dambuster actually took over development, and they've been working on this rebooted project for the last 4 years, which is solid. A 4-year development behind AAA games now is pretty normal. Between what we see now versus what we seen back in 2014, they look completely different, as expected. It does look like Dead Island 2 still keeping a little bit of the wackiness. We do see a variety of infected, which I gotta say, the clown one, I love that design. Throughout both trailers, we see what looks like finishers with both melee weapons, your fist, actual flesh being ripped off of the infected's faces, and I love it. There's also a lot of gameplay surrounding guns, which I'm really excited to see. Look, I don't want to keep doing this, you know, I see a lot of people comparing Dead Island 2 to Dying Light 2. I think that's going to be something that's just hard to do, considering the original Dead Island was developed by Techland, that obviously went on and created the Dying Light games. So I think it's just a symptom of both these games' origins to compare the two. To a point, you gotta say there is some Dead Island DNA in the Dying Light series and vice versa. What I'm just hoping is that both games feel uniquely different to a point. A lot of people from the Dying Light community want guns in Dying Light 2. Personally, I'm not one of those people. I would love to see Techland, again, go more into that medieval age, the creativity with crossbows, bows and arrows, things like that, more crude weapons, versus with Dead Island 2, I would love to see much more elemental based weaponry, incendiary rounds, electric bullets, acidic rounds, you know, stuff like that. What really surprised me is we actually did see a dropkick in the Dead Island trailer. I'm really hoping that, again, this game feels uniquely different from Dying Light 2. On one side, we could have some healthy competition between Techland and Dambuster Studios. I think Dambuster can do a phenomenal job if they really pay attention to how the launch of Dying Light went, with it being very rocky and there being about 2 to 3 months of Techland having to focus on quality of life improvements, bug fixes, the game crashing, saves being erased. Now we're in the middle of a content drought. People are asking for things to change. Ultimately, the game just objectively wasn't ready to be launched. And I think if Dambuster Studios kind of takes that, uses Techland's rocky launch as a guide, then I think Dead Island 2 is going to be one hell of a release at launch. And I think all of its post-launch content would not only satisfy those that are eagerly waiting Dead Island 2, but could probably even satisfy those that weren't happy with Dying Light 2 or aren't happy with its current state. Another thing this trailer showed that I'm actually really excited for is the physics, that dismemberment. I don't know if you guys have watched the IGN version, you know, the hands-on preview. The commentator just has, you know, that video basically just has this gameplay trailer on loop. There's nothing entirely new in it, but the commentator claims that he was able to play this game, and he mentioned that the flesh, the physics, and the combat of this game exhibit massive improvements with a heavy emphasis on elemental combat, melee based, which again, a little close to Dying Light there, but anyways, he claims flames actually burn away flesh. Water exterminates flames, yet as in reality is conductive for electricity, which can then fry the infected, which would allow us to experiment with different weapon combinations and have some fun with the physics in the game. Again, kind of going back, if you've been paying attention to Dying Light and what people have been complaining about the most, it's been the dismemberment, it's been the physics. I don't think Dead Island is going to kill Dying Light. I really don't. In a perfect world, I think the two of them would have some healthy competition, potentially pull from each other's player base with each update. And I think if both games play their cards right, then each game is going to offer something uniquely different and keep people engaged for a different reason. However, if they both play and feel somewhat similar, I think both games are kind of just going to die off together in the end. At least that's the way I see it. It can kind of go any way. We obviously still don't really have solid gameplay. We just have that quote-unquote gameplay trailer that's just an idea of what the game is supposed to look like after almost a decade of radio silence. But let me know what you guys think. Have you guys seen the trailer? What are you guys most excited for? Do you think this will put the nail in the coffin for Dying Light 2, or do you think this will light a fire under Techland's ass and they'll start putting out content a little better or a little quicker and try to beat Dambuster to essentially, I guess, their own player base? Let's talk down in the comments section. I'm genuinely curious what you have to say about this.